We got David on. That's awesome. So yesterday when I started this, I was just talking about any type of changes that you want in your business. If you want to have more time off, if you want to charge more, if you want to attract more people, everything you've done so far in your education, your business, and building your school has gotten you to this point. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get what you want in the future unless you find out what changes you're going to need to make that happen. So you're teaching 100 students, you go, man, I could really use 150 students. Well, there's probably going to be something different in either keeping your students longer, marketing for new students, becoming the lighthouse in your town. Something happens to change because where you are is because of everything that's happened up to this point. And when I start talking about that, I start saying, well, it really comes down to value. When you start thinking about other businesses that are not martial arts, but are very successful, a lot has to do with the experiences they provide. A lot of times when we talk about how much people are willing to pay for things, it's because the experience of the quality of what they're buying. You know, buying a Hyundai, if anyone has a Hyundai, I love the car. I usually get them when I do a rental, so I'm not putting it down. But buying a Hyundai and buying a BMW are two different types of experiences. I have a Lexus SUV. When I bring it in for service, it's a totally different experience because you go into the Lexus place and they bring you into the lounge. In the lounge, they actually have a woman who's baking muffins and she's doing things like that. She'll pour you a cup of coffee. They have a huge room with a big fish tank. So if you just want to kind of mellow out, do some reading and sit there, you can. If you want to watch the news, they have another room that's got a big screen TV. So it's a totally different experience. It's not just sitting in a chair waiting for your car to get done. It's a nice atmosphere. It's a calming atmosphere. People don't seem to be rushed, and they treat you really, really good. Lexus has another thing that if you buy a car from a Lexus dealership, anytime you want to get it washed, you can just drive down to the Lexus dealership and they will wash the car. You can go in, you can have free water, you can get a free cup of coffee, you can get something to eat, they wash your car, you leave, you don't have to give them a tip. It's just one of those services. So there's a different experience. So when we start thinking about our martial arts school, if we want to get to that next level, there's certain things we have to do or we could do in customer service. Again, it's totally by choice. So I started writing down this morning. I got up and I started saying, okay, this is what I think would be cool customer service. It's not an alphabetical order. It's not really any type of order, but I think it's just some really cool stuff. One is to build trust as soon as the confirmation call. I know we like to do a lot of things automated, and I think automation is great. But when you make a confirmation call, and it's not your secretary, but it's the instructor, and I'm calling and go, hey, this is Greg Silva. I'm calling David's first classes tomorrow at 4:30. I just wanted to introduce myself and just see if there's anything I should know about David before he comes in. We're really excited. And just starting a confirmation, you're building trust before the person actually gets into the door. I think automation is great. I think an automatic text is good. But if I can get out of mom on the phone, she goes, well, you know, David's really looking forward to this class. I'm just concerned that he may be a little bit too shy. Oh, thanks, great for telling me that. So now I can prepare myself when David comes in to make sure I talk to him. I know he's a shy kid. I'm going to make sure I get on my knee. I'm not going to talk too loud or talk too crazy. I'm going to make him comfortable and build rapport. So a lot in my presentation can change just through that confirmation call. I think it's really neat if you have a sign when people walk in your door and it just says, welcome. It goes, Greg Silva, first class. A lot of times when I go to the vet I go to has a chalkboard, and the chalkboard has all the dogs that are coming in. We're looking forward to meeting Thumper, and this is this today. So something small. But again, it's above and beyond. People coming in and they see their name on the board. They know they're at the right place, and it just makes them feel good. After you talk to someone and they're getting ready for the first class, I love to hand them something. I think everyone should have some type of welcome package. A welcome package is a folder, It's basically a printed version of your website. So you may have information about the classes, background on the instructors. You have a schedule in there. You have the easy pricing list. You have something about birthday parties. So when mom and dad are sitting down watching the class take place, they're looking like this at this. They're learning all about your school. Hopefully it's motivating them. You're telling them what you're doing, just like Jason was talking about. He tells more than just an activity. It's actually a life-changing experience. If he has that written down, people are seeing him because they're seeing him in action, but they're also reading about this. And it's building value into his program. You have to learn to listen and investigate when interviewing. So we talk to someone, say, well, what brought you here today? Well, this is David. David needs a little self-confidence. Okay, great. Well, David, it's great to meet you. Can I ask what's happening in your life that's showing that David needs some self-confidence? Well, he's having this challenge or this challenge. So I'm not going to just listen when she says self-confidence. I'm not just going to jump in because I already know the answer, but I want to listen because you become interesting to the other person when you show interest in them. So I'm going to ask her more questions, show that I'm really interested. I'm not just going to jump in. Hey, we fixed that 100 times. He's going to have great confidence. Enjoy class. No. That's not becoming a good listener, and that's not making the person feel important. So I think it's really important that you teach your team how to become an effective listener and how to ask questions. I was probably the worst listener for a long time. It really took me a lot of practice. And now I just get a kick out of this. One of the things that I do volunteer on the weekend is I volunteer in church. And my job is I have a whole section when people come in, I'm going to go over there and meet them. If I don't know, introduce myself, listen and ask questions. And it's kind of my goal to see how much information I can get. And I just get that information by listening. And it's one of those traits that some people are good listeners, some people want to talk more, but training to become a good listener is very important. I think it's really nice if you offer coffee or bottled water or something to the parents. So when the parents sit down and watch class, say, you comfortable? Yeah, I'm comfortable. Could I get you a bottle of water? Could I get you a cup of coffee? Again, we're thinking about what we can do to go above and beyond. It's really important that when mom and dad sit down and they're watching classes, that they meet people around them. So, okay, this is Mr. Smith. Mrs. Smith, this is David's mom. David's little kid over there. She's been here like 6 months now in the school, loves the program. On the other side of you, this Big Jim. Big Jim's been coming here, watching his child. In fact, he just got involved in our program. So I just wanted to introduce you to each other. Again, it makes them feel comfortable. And it should get to a point that when people in your classroom or parents are watching the classes, they should take the initiative. It should be part of their responsibility as students of their school to make newcomers welcome. And you can get that just by thanking them. Hey, I want to thank you, Mr. Smith, for reaching a hand out and talking to our new students. It's really great when I see our student body welcoming newcomers to our school. Makes them feel very welcome. Same thing, introduce your staff. After the first class, I want to make sure that my newcomer not only knows my name, but knows the person behind the front counter, what her job is, and what the instructor's name is, and they all know his son's name. I want to make sure I send thank you notes. This isn't just an automated email, which is important just in case you can't get to this, but thank you notes, birthday cards are really important. I just want to thank you for entrusting David's martial arts education to East West Karate. If I can answer any questions, I've enclosed my business card. Again, it was great meeting you, and I look forward to David's training in our martial arts school. I was talking to Melanie yesterday. I suggested she goes to a dollar store and she just buys a bunch of thank you notes and birthday cards. If you find one of the moms or dads is having a birthday and send them a birthday card, again, that's one of those things above and beyond. They're really going to appreciate it. You can go to dollar store and get a couple dozen birthday cards, a few dozen thank you notes, have them in your desk. When these opportunities pop up, you're already with the products you need. Yes, I mentioned when you go to Tom Baker School, it's very rare where you have to open the door yourself. They have someone by the door, and the reason they have someone by the door is they use what's called, or we call, prep zones. Prep zones are stations for instructors and staff members between classes. So one of the prep zones is the front door. We want to make sure when people are leaving, we're thanking them for coming to class. We're also keeping our eyes open. If someone's leaving, they look upset, we want to make sure we talk to them. At the same time, when we're opening the door for people leaving, we're welcoming new people into the school. Another prep zone is the parent area. So in between classes, there should be an instructor or instructors in that area, shaking hands with the moms and dads when they come in, talking to the kids. It's really amazing the effect you have when you become a good finder in children. It's a bigger effect when you mention that to the parents. Hey, I was watching Cynthia in class today. I got to tell you, she had her hand up. She's totally focused. I just see such a change in Cynthia. You got to be so proud of her. So again, telling Cindy she did a good job is one thing. Telling she did a good job in front of her parents is a totally different level. This parent's now super proud of their child, and they just got, probably a little more prouder because she's going to look down and congratulate Cynthia. Our last prep zone is someone on the mat. We've got to make sure in between classes there's someone on the mat, making sure that kids aren't fooling around, giving extra help to people that need extra help and maybe staying around. When new students are coming in, if you do any type of sizzle time, we've got music blasting, kids practicing, there should be someone in that zone also. So the three zones are the front door, the parent area, and the floor. We want to make sure those are manned with highly trained staff members. Next thing is curriculum sheets. I visited a school this past week, not too far from my home, and I was really impressed that the instructor was handing out curriculum sheets. The curriculum sheets was he was teaching one of the elements forms, and he had it written out by steps, and he just wanted to give it to the parent. He goes, we also do these, we have places on our website where people can watch the forms, but I know when parents are practicing with the kids, they're not always in their computer room. So I like to give them a written sheet, so if they're just talking after dinner or something like that, they have something to practice. Next thing is pre-problem training. Pre-problem training are things that could go wrong. They're not happening right now, but if it does happen, your staff is ready. So pre-problem is, all the parents are in there, they're watching classes, one of the siblings throws up on the floor. What do you do? Pre-problem is a parent comes over and goes, hey, listen, I'm fed up with this. The instructor hasn't talked to my son at all in this class. He seems to be paying attention to everyone else. Well, when these things happen, and a lot of things do happen, are you ready? Is not only are you ready, but is your staff members ready? So each week when I had my school, I would pick out one problem, and we would do pre-problem training. We'd also do recovery training. Recovery training is how you handle that. One of the probably best used ones is feel, felt, found. So your staff members know to say if someone's complaining, I know how you feel. Other people have felt the same way at time and time. And what we found is we can remedy this by doing this. So that's a recovery technique. You don't want someone coming up and venting on one of your instructors and they don't know how to handle one of those situations. You definitely don't want it to turn into an argument. Listen, I'm an instructor, I know what's right. We have to have a more delicate way of handling that. Again, this is kind of a repeat, but teach the team listening skills. One of the things that I do on Tuesday mornings is I work with the staff at Rainmaker, the girls that answer the phone and help you through things. And what I did today was 10 things to work on to improve listening skills. So that's something you can do. Next thing for great is to make sure you track your attendance perfectly. I mean, have a real solid way for keeping attendance. No one likes it if they've been to class and then they've been to class and then get something, hey, you weren't in class. So we want to make sure that we have a perfect way of keeping attendance. And at the same time, we have our MIA flow in our calls down. You want to personally invite people to events. You have certain people in your school that just like have high self-esteem. They come to all the events. They're like 8 personalities. Sometimes we invite them because they're just so outgoing. And then you have that shy boy that, well, he doesn't come to the events. Well, a lot of times he just needs something. You know, he needs something that we can talk to him about. Hold on one second. So you really want to make sure that we go out and we personally invite everyone. And not just sending out a note. It just shows you know, our school is personable. Next thing is to make sure we know names, not only names of your students, but names of the parents. I always teach my staff to make sure that they refer to parents by the last name. So if I have a parent, Mr. Johnson, it's always Mr. Johnson. Even though I know his name is Bob, I still call him to Mr. Johnson until they give me permission. Once they give me permission, say, hey, just call me Bob. Okay, fine. Now you can call him Bob. Or you just keep calling him Mr. Johnson because, you know, that's your protocol of your school. But not only knowing people's names, but the proper way to address them. I mentioned this yesterday with where my kids go to take martial arts, not my kids, but my grandkids. Ben Cohen owns the school. He has a partner, Berkeley. When you go to the school, either Ben or Berkeley's right around the parents. They've got their prep zones. They not only say hello, but they make sure they shake everyone's hands. If a parent or student has concern about money, you want to handle that quickly. Money becomes a problem a lot of times. Someone may have just got a different credit card number and all of a sudden their payment bounced. If you have things with money concerns, attack them quickly. Parents don't like to be talked about money and things like that. You just have to assume 99.9 are honest. If a money situation gets handled, make sure you handle that quickly. And part 2 of this is when you handle something, make sure you tell those people involved about the resolution. So Mrs. Smith comes up and goes, hey, I got a email saying that I was late on my payments. You know, I did get a new credit card and it's got a new last 4 numbers. You take care of that. And then all of a sudden, an hour later, you call back, Mrs. Smith, you know, I called in the new credit card. It's all taken care of. You shouldn't have this problem anymore. So handle the problem quickly and then make sure you tell those people that this is the resolution. Just like respond to all emails. A lot of times someone will send you an email and then a couple of days later, they're wondering if you got it. So anytime you get an email, even if you don't think it's a response, hey, I just got your email. Everything's taken care of. Thank you for getting in touch with me. Train your staff on good manners and rapport building. If you're looking at any of these and go, man, I don't know what he means about rapport building. Google that. Google that. How do companies build or rapport with customers? And you probably get some good staff training lessons on that. When I work with Rainmaker and I do things like that, I just save that in a file. I have a file with like hundreds of pages of things I looked up online that were really, really good. I taught them and I always keep them in case I want to teach them again. Obvious things, your school is clean. I've seen a lot of schools and I wouldn't go into them and they feel they're clean and all of a sudden I look at the pro shop and the t-shirts are full of dust. Just make sure your school is clean. Sometimes since I'm talking to guys today, that your version of clean and the version of the mom who comes to your school may be totally different. So clean is clean. I remember when I had my school in Coral Springs. This was my first school. This was like a second school. This was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I used to go to the soda machine. We had a soda and water machine. I'd rub my hand across the top of it. And I go, hey, it's dusty up there. Yeah, we can't see it. Oh, it's still dusty up there, so clean is clean. Make sure it smells good. You know, I think most schools now have some type of automatic sprayers that they put over the parent area so it always smells nice. Strange things happen to bathrooms in martial arts schools. One of my front end office managers' job was after class started, she would walk into both bathrooms, make sure both bathrooms are clean, there's not stuff messed up. I didn't want to find out 2 or 3 classes later. So once a new class starts, bathrooms are checked. I got this one from Bill Clark. You know, Bill Clark's the head of the ATA, so he's a badass fighter and instructor like this. He gave me this. He got flowers delivered each week to his school. He goes, I just think it's really important to have flowers on the front counter. I know the ladies really appreciate it. It's not something people would expect to go to martial arts school. I took that hint. In fact, when we had that last school I was talking about in Coral Springs, we had a mirror behind the front counter. We always had a real nice flower display in front of that mirror. I got this one from Stefan Moliner from North Carolina. When you walk into her school, she has a bowl of a fruit on the counter. She has either apples or oranges, and parents or students can just get one. Some people have a bowl of mints. I know you're saying this is a karate school. You know, it's not really necessary. No, it's not necessary, but when things aren't necessary, that's just a hint that you've gone above and beyond. So having something in the front counter is really nice. Next thing, we all have bad days. I was talking to a client today who was just all stressed out. You know, we have bad days, but as leaders, it's important that we work on our positivity all the time. I've told you this probably quite a few times, but before I started teaching on the floor with my team, if we started at 3:30, my team would arrive in my office at 3:15. I would have some tips with them. I would talk to them, a couple of reminders. Okay, now, guys, once we open that door and you hit that floor, it's showtime. I know some of you guys had a bad day. You had a bad day at school. Things are bothering you, but we can't let the students see that. It's real important that we're positive. They're coming here for an outlet, and they're looking for that change in their life. So put it behind you. Get out there. You have to be positive. 2 more, and I'll be done for today. Or 3 more. Attendance recovery. Sometimes people miss classes. Maybe their car broke down. Maybe dad needed to have an appointment, and all of a sudden you're looking, and they have 5 classes instead of 8 classes for the month. And so you're about to tell them that they can't stripe test. It's really important that you have an attendance recovery system. People don't like to fall behind on testing, especially when it's not their fault. So if you have a makeup class, maybe you do a private class that's worth missing 3 classes. Maybe you have a high-intensity training on a Saturday afternoon where people can come in and train for an hour, and that's their attendance recovery. But there's got to be a way to make up classes that I might have missed so I can stay on track. Just like if I miss stripe test, all of a sudden I get sick, I miss stripe test. Well, a few days after stripe test, we call stripe test recovery. We allow for makeup tests, so either have a leadership member do a makeup test. I'll someone say a couple minutes after class. But I don't want to be in a position where I say, well, you missed your stripe test, so what you're going to do is you're not going to take it to next month, and that's going to put you off cycle, but, you know, it's your fault that you missed. Make sure you have a makeup policy. And the last one, since you guys are all rainmakers, be sure to use their surveys. Read their surveys, and if necessary, respond to the surveys. Don't get upset when people give you positive or some type of feedback, what they think is a positive change. You know, don't take that personally. Make sure you listen. Everything that you can take in to help your service and help your school is all good. I was talking to, I'm getting bad at names. I was talking to someone yesterday and said, you know, it was William Pierce. I go, I had learned that if people say something negative or people complain, that I would actually write them a thank you note. And the thank you note was just thanking them for bringing that to my attention, because my goal is always to improve the service at our school. So thank you for the complaint. So that's a lot of things. Again, if that was all review, great. You're on a great job doing everything it needs to improve your school, improve your service. If you got a few ideas, even if you think they're kind of silly, I would still implement them. Again, doing what is above and beyond is what's going to make us different and make us different and make us really stick out in the community. When we talk about the referrals come from people remarking about our school. They may not always remark about the classes, but they may remark about the experience and how they feel when they attend classes or watch classes for their kids. Okay, guys, do we have any questions? Anyone want to jump in with a comment or anything?
I'd like to comment about the instructor calling people for their intros and things like that. So I did that yesterday on my drive home. And so the mom was actually available. And so I was talking to the mom, and she was very cordial and things like that. And I asked her, why do you want your son to be a part of the studio? Like, what kind of benefits and all that stuff. And we just had such a wonderful rapport. I have no doubt they're probably going to join on that first day. So it's very important.
Yes, she's already thinking good things about your school and has got a good feeling, and you've already started building trust. So excellent, sir. Excellent. Okay, everyone, just one reminder, on April 5th and 6th, we're going to be at William Pierce's school in Oklahoma. William's got a great school there. He does fitness, he does martial arts, he does parkour. For those of you who have a larger school and maybe thinking about adding parkour to your curriculum, I think this would be a great introduction to that. He's having a certification for parkour instructors, so it'd be great. Just sit down and watch that and see how he does his training. If you've been following William at all, you know that he runs one of the best summer camps, one of the most profitable summer camps in the industry. So if you want to go there and see how he handles that and how he has that set up. So besides the instructor training, besides the marketing, besides listening to some great speakers, including Scott Dolph, just being around that school and be able to network with everyone there is going to be a great experience. It's only $149 to attend that. You can buy tickets online. I have put the link on the Rainmaker Business Solution page. And if you want to read more about it, it's called the Member Growth Conference. So go membergrowthconference.com. You can learn about who's going to be there, see our schedule. The hotel is called the Mayo. And for some reason, I don't know what I thought about Tulsa, but I didn't think it was going to have a great hotel. This hotel is amazing. I think it's been there for like 90 years. They just did a multi-million-dollar renovation. So we're going to have some good time, hopefully have some good food and some good networking. So hopefully see a lot of you on April 5th and 6th. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Thank you.